You're listening to the Level Best Network.
This is the INTERCOT Insider Live, episode 134.
Wow.
I know, right? We're old. The INTERCOT Insider Live is brought to you by the one and only Magical Journeys, INTERCOT's official travel agency. They are the Disney vacation experts. We were just talking about them in the pre-show. Now more than ever, it's important to support our partner, Magical Journeys. Book your Disney vacations. Things just opened up. So call the folks over there, Nancy, Karen, whom else? Who do you guys use over there?
Wendy.
I see. Now I'm going to have hurt feelings on other people.
Way to go.
I shouldn't have gone down that road, should I?
A minute in and you're ready.
Nice.
I know. Everyone is nice.
Everyone at your Magical Journeys.
Karen's daughter. Yeah, exactly. Everyone at Magical Journeys. They are your Disney vacation experts. They'll take care of you. They've been a partner of INTERCOT for most of our 22 years of being online, and certainly have been with us since the beginning on the podcast here. So,
and I can give you the biggest vouch that I can give because I am a travel agent.
Yes.
And I send all of my friends that need Disney stuff to them.
Instead of you?
Yeah. Instead of doing it myself,
Wow.
I send it to them because they know way more. I can do much bigger, crazy trips, but for Disney, they're the professionals. They're the ones to get it done.
They are indeed. And they've been in business a really long time, tons of experience, and they get the job done for you. I've used them for years, obviously, and so have many of our users from intercot.com, and nothing but glowing reviews. So be sure and support them.
I find it funny that their anniversary or opening date was April 1st. Their opening day,
okay,
like anniversary or birthday, whatever, is April 1st. I just find that funny.
April Fools?
Yes. I don't know. Stupid little tidbit. All right, I'm off to a rocking start. All right.
Where's my I don't have a car sound effect.
Just put a
bringing
sound up,
bringing the show to a screeching halt right now.
And that is Justin.
With
Happy Hero Week. Reveal.
There he is, somewhere in the Northeast Corridor. Justin, good to see you.
Hi. Live from Rockaway Beach, Queens, New York.
Yes, indeed. Representing the entire country of Canada. Carolyn.
Coming to you from southwestern Ontario.
Yeah, despite the other half not being there. The other half of Canada.
She's at work.
The two people of Canada.
How cold it is in Canada right now?
How cold is it?
Yeah, really.
In Fahrenheit, like in the 90s?
No, stop it.
Really?
I'm not that far from you.
Your igloo will melt. Stop it.
We have it in a biodome, so it's safe.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, your weather is very similar to ours.
Yes.
In New York.
And as usual, we can be away for 2 months.
And the weather is topic number one.
Weather is topic number
Yes.
Weather talk. How's the weather, Michael, on the West Coast? Where are you nowadays?
I'm in the upper left. Still in Seattle.
Still in the Seattles.
Okay, that way.
Yeah. You know what? We haven't even had weather over like 75. The high was 70 today.
Wow.
Yesterday the high was like 63.
Nice.
Oh, well, we were just talking again pre-show, and as we were doing weather talk offline because it's apparently a popular topic. Yeah, it was earlier today. We were in the 80s and real feel 102 and got up into the 90s, and the humidity is out of control here in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
It was
No, thank you.
So just since it's been a couple months, by the way, folks, one of the big reasons why it's been a couple months, other than the facts that obviously the parks have been shut down and stuff like that, was I happened to move right in the middle of that. So setting up the new space and the whole 9 yards and getting accustomed. And actually, I didn't have high-speed internet, what I would consider high-speed internet, until like 2 weeks ago.
That newfangled internet.
I know. Like literally,
Did you
I
have
had
dial-up?
no, I had 20 meg service. Do people still
You
have
got
that?
mail.
20 megs, 20 megs down. That was what I had. I'm at
AOL
That's
online.
crazy.
I'm at 100 plus now, so that's good. But
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is faster than that. So
I know it was DSL. Like, I started feeling bad for folks who have to deal with that kind of stuff. I was going out of my mind because, especially now, we're all doing all this video conferencing and things like that, and connecting, and I'm having to connect with people in my daytime job, and it was a nightmare. So we're good now. We're good. And I'm glad to be back with you all. So that was one of the things, but the other thing, obviously, is we're all still dealing with certain degrees of shutdown. I know, Carolyn, you can't even come into the U.S. still, right?
Nope. We were just talking about my annual pass, and because the parks were closed for 3 months, they'll extend my annual pass by 3 months. But that's great. But
you
I still can't come. So
You still can't
I'm going
cross
to
the
call
border.
them and see what I can work out with them.
I think I would point out to them, like, how am I supposed to use that annual pass if your country won't let me in?
Right.
So
Well,
there's that.
Sorry,
So
the moose outside should have told you.
I know, right?
Moose, get it, Canada? Oh, bad joke. All right, 0 for 2.
they would probably say, "Ma'am, you live in Canada. Why the heck do you have an annual pass for Disney World?"
Yeah, that's true. Because I'm nuts.
Oh, we miss you, Cindy, too.
Yes, Cindy was supposed to be with us tonight, Cindy Giacomo, and she was having issues with computers and things like that. So maybe she'll join us later, maybe not. I don't know, but it'd be nice to have her. But so on the just on the COVID-19 thing, kind of if we did a roundup, where are you guys? Like, I mean, I won't start with where we are right now, but like, Michael, are you allowed to do stuff right now?
Yeah, I'm actually, I live about 5 blocks from where Chop was.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. So but it was not like it was. Everyone was like on the news, crazy. Like I never saw them. So
Okay. Right.
We have to wear masks when we go outside for anything, but some restaurants are still open with like their 50%. Can get my hair cut, but we are still not on an open to go to work basis. We probably won't be for a long time, but that's all right because I don't want to ride public transportation.
Well, I mean, right? But
Yeah, so I will
so
probably
there's that.
I'll probably be working home until I would imagine January.
So yeah, like, I mean, things are. So we've got the whole. What is it? The number of cases spiking, mortality rate kind of going down, but everybody in the 20 to 30 range now is like the prime. I guess they're socializing and things are going crazy. Plus the testing's going through the roof. The whole 9 yards. There's so much stuff going on, but like in South Carolina, so we're seeing things go up, and we were just talking about this. Like, so I used to travel probably a couple times a month, right? So I haven't traveled since March, and like Michael, your analysis, I'm wondering whether through the end of the year whether I'll go anywhere. I mean, I was expected to be in DC, so I mean,
Yeah, I don't
every
think
month.
Our projections for work are that domestic travel won't really start up until the end of September, October, if then. But
So being in travel, how are things, since we're going to try and get the folks from Magical Journeys on maybe in the next podcast and kind of talk about things. I know it's hit them hard.
yes.
I know, basically we went 3 months without, pretty much any Disney stuff or being able to do anything, or, while Disney was formulating their plan on how to get back open again. But I mean, in travel in general, I mean, where like as somebody who does it, I mean, where do you see things? I mean, how's it affecting you personally?
Well, I'm a corporate travel agent, so I don't have to do any of that domestic crazy or like the leisure travel. I don't do that.
Right. But still, right?
Still, it's horrible because I don't have a single client, and I have really huge clients
Right.
that travel a lot, like $6-7 million in travel in a year, and none of them are traveling. I have done maybe 10 tickets for people since March.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So everyone on our team is pretty
Sad.
well. It's just, I mean, when you're used to making X amount of money every month because you have ridiculously well-paid commission,
Right.
and then
And
all
you're
of a
good
sudden
at
you
what
have to
you
live
do
on
too.
and right. I love my clients, and I actually like what I do, but
Right.
then like you realize, oh, my base salary sucks. No, it's good. Our company, I am in a very lucky position because our company has really taken care of us.
Right.
So,
Well, that's good.
but yeah, so I am lucky that I don't have to worry about paying my rent or buying groceries or any of that stuff. So,
Do you
No,
have
I
any
know.
insight when the border's going to open?
oh no, there's absolutely not.
Thought maybe you knew some inside info for me.
No,
Inside
I-
baseball, maybe.
yeah, I have lots of people who took trips right before and didn't heed the advice of their travel professional, me,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and they're still out of the country. They couldn't.
Really?
Can't get back in. Wow.
Yep,
Wow.
Well,
it's a long time to pay rent for a house you're not living in. Suckers.
Oh my
That's what I
gosh.
have to say.
Well, we lucked out and we snuck a trip to Florida, and
I saw that.
yeah, we got down. It was mid-June. Disney Springs had just opened, so we were able to actually walk around there at night. It was nice. I mean, they had the whole temperature screening as you walk in. You have to wear a mask, even though we saw people, with the mask down around their chin. No one was really going around saying, "Hey, put your mask on." But then again, we were there. We got there about 8:15, and they were closing at 10, so it wasn't that crowded. And so I mean, it was what it was.
How was the the screening? Is it quick?
Oh, 2 seconds.
That's good.
You have to walk. You don't just walk to the main end, and they have everyone going to one or two entrances. They don't have it, all the entrances open, and you kind of, like I said, we got there late in the evening, so we kind of went around in the parking garage around some of the aisles, and then walked up, and they had 3 tents set up, and they had the touchless gun thermometer. Put it on your head, scanned, and okay, you're good to go. Yeah, I think you have to be under 100.4, I think, to go in. And then if you are more than that, then you actually go for special, extra screening or anything. And then you just, go in. I did see people, the cast members wiping things down and everything, touch points, which is good. And yeah, that was Disney Springs. And then we were actually able to go over to Vero Beach. We had a reservation for the day that they opened. And masks are mandatory around the whole resort, except at the pool area. On the pool deck, you were able to not have your mask, and also in the pool. And on the beach, you weren't required to wear a mask. But everywhere else, you had to have one on, even except when you were eating.
So anywhere outdoors, though. So,
even in the building, even in the main building itself of Vero.
I mean, I expect anywhere indoors. It's the question was whether outdoors wise, you had to.
Oh, outdoor. If you weren't on the pool deck or at the beach, yes, you had to wear your mask.
Okay, so that's
walking around.
Right.
Okay.
So, but cast members were really great about it, cleaning everything down. They did the movies on the lawn, and they made an announcement: if you're going to be on the lawn, please have your mask on. Or if not, if you're going to be 6 feet away from somebody, then you keep your party together. Don't have So it was. I thought it was very well done. It was well taken care of. It was well done.
Did you find that they when I was back in March, I was at the parks. They had just started bringing out. They had like when you go to a music festival or something, they have those little sinks that would be outside the porta
Oh yeah,
potties.
yeah.
You
Right,
know?
to be able to wash and sanitize.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
had those, but we did notice in March you'd go to use one of the hand sanitizer doohickeys and they'd be empty. Were you finding that they were like keeping on top of filling those up?
Everyone that I saw was full. I
good.
didn't see any that were not. If I remember correctly, at Vero, they usually put out like cookies and whatnot, and they weren't doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's something that. And then in the little not restaurant, the quick service little place where you go in and to get your drinks, they actually poured the drink for you, and it was it was one cup use. Not you couldn't go back and say, "Can I get a refill?" They would give you a whole new cup.
Oh, okay.
So,
but overall, did you feel like this?
I felt safe. I felt safe. It was. I mean, it's like anything. Walking around with a mask is not ideal because, like I said, in New York, also, like Michael was saying, you have to wear a mask when you go out and about and everything. We're not quite to the fact where restaurants, they're open, but it's outdoor seating only. They haven't opened.
That's in New York.
In New York City, yes, they haven't opened any in the city itself. They haven't opened any indoor seating yet.
Okay.
So everything's outside. Like Starbucks now, for a while they had it that you ordered ahead and you got to the front door and they had like a table set up there and you couldn't go in. You would get your order there, or if you didn't place a mobile order, you could order right then and there and then set it aside. Now you can actually go into the stores and get your stuff, but there's still no seating available. So. And
just on your note about how wearing masks is kind of but like out in the heat especially, I just saw the other day with Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom opening, they have what they call a mask relaxation zone.
Yes, I saw that also.
Yeah, so the one I forget where the one in Magic Kingdom is. The one
there was
in
a couple.
Animal
There was
Kingdom.
one in the Tomorrowland Noodle Terrace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think there was like 2 or 3 in each park.
We still call it the noodle. I call it cut through the noodle terrace, but my kids are like, that's not what it's called.
What is it called now?
Well, we used to call it the noodle station. That was the name of it. It's called the Tomorrowland Terrace now. And it has been the Tomorrowland Terrace for like 20 years, but I still call it go through the noodle station.
Okay.
The one in Animal Kingdom, I was looking at pictures of that. It is in the Donald's Pizzafari restaurant. And essentially it still looks like a restaurant. There's tables with 4 chairs, but there's only a handful of tables in there. They're really spaced out. So you can sit down, take off your mask, and just sit in the air conditioning for a bit. So if you're worried about wearing a mask and it's going to be too hot, there's that option.
I believe they have the party separated by 10 feet rather than the normal 6 feet. That's what I had heard, or read. I'm not sure if that's actually accurate or whatnot, but.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's one at the Golden Oak Outpost across from Pecos Bill. So, okay.
Thanks, Juliana. Appreciate that. Where did Justin go?
I'm here. I just turned my camera off for a second. Because John Carbonaro was so enthralled with the bear behind. When I put him back, I dropped it. So I'm going to reach back and grab it.
Oh, okay.
I'm still here, though.
Justin's climbing over the couch.
Climbing over
we don't see it this time. And say hello to Cindy. Hey, Cindy.
Yes.
Hi,
Hello.
Cindy.
Hey.
Can you guys hear me okay with this?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, just fine.
And actually, when I was down in Florida, we were actually able to stop and say hello to Cindy.
They were.
We made a day over to say hello. So
they got to come and visit my pool.
Yes,
because we were responsible outside gatherings, social distancing.
Very nice.
Excellent.
Very nice. I like that. Way to go. Yes. So, how are things in Florida, Cindy? Like how are things? I saw your post today. I
don't know.
Well,
you're the expert. Come on.
No, but there's so much data out there. To Cindy posted today, and she's just saying she's a data person, and she's trying to put together stuff like the rest of us, like just trying to make sense of all this info that's being thrown at us every day. Hey, it's this way. No, it's this way. No, it's up. No, it's down. No, we're doing this.
It's really hard. And I think the really hard thing with Florida is because when everybody talks about Florida, it's like the state of Florida. And every part of Florida is so so different.
Yeah.
So what's going on down in Miami-Dade, Palm, and Broward is different
Right.
than the Tampa area, which is also another hot spot, which is different than Orange has been up, which is then totally different from the rural counties. So it's really hard to get a grasp of it. I mean, we're definitely worse off than we were before the state started opening in May. I can just kind of go by my county. So for those of you guys who don't know, I live about an hour north of Tampa in a more rural county. So we had through May about a case a day, 2 cases a day, no cases a day.
Right.
And then probably in the middle of June, we started having 10 cases a day, 15
Right.
cases a day. And then it kind of surged up to, I think our highest day was 60. And now we seem to be going back down, falling down the other way. But it's hard to get a grip on exactly what it is. And I know like everybody reads everything in the national media about this is what's going on overall in the state. And I think, again, every county is different. We were open for 5 weeks without really any problems.
Right.
And then it seems like when we went to the next phase, when they opened more, is when things really started escalating again. So as far as phases go in Florida, we're paused, just so people know. Even though Disney opened, Disney's opening was approved prior. It was part of the whole thing when Universal opened. Because for those of you who don't know, because I know everybody in the paper has been Disney.
Right.
Universal has been open since the beginning of June.
Yep.
Busch Gardens has been open since the beginning of June. Legoland and SeaWorld have all been open since sometime in June. Disney put their date further back than everybody else so that they could plan. The other
Right.
parks all opened first.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
pretty successfully from what I've seen too, because a lot of
seems
people
so.
said,
Yeah.
how great Universal was. Like, I know Jimmy Horn from the Disney Nerds had took his first trip to Universal. Had never been there because they were open, and
Right.
had commented how great a time he had and how well they seemed to be handling it. So it seemed like they're doing well.
I haven't heard anything really negative about Universal being open. I haven't heard a lot about the other parks at all. I mean, so I would say, like, if you're looking at Florida, it just really depends on where you are. There are some areas that are not good. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be going down to Miami right now. There's no way.
Right.
But there are other counties where it's not that, that bad. I'll say for my county, I wish we were a little lower. And depending on where you guys live, probably me being like, oh, we have 40 cases. That's horrible. I don't like it. We have
Right.
about 192,000 people live in my county. I mean, 40 cases isn't huge. Our year-to-date cases now are about 815, I think. Again, not super huge, but obviously I'm much more comfortable with 1 case a day than 40.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, so, I mean, I'm in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, which is a tourist destination. So
Right.
we were relatively fine early on, and there were pretty much like no restrictions and stuff, and things were relatively flat. And then, of course, we started getting into the point where all the northeastern states were locked down. And what was happening? Well, guess what? Folks from your part of the country, Justin, were like, I'm out of here. I can't take this anymore. Like, they were starting to get stir crazy. So they went to places that were actually open, came here, and now guess what's happening? Like, so now our numbers are like
going up.
starting to go up.
Yeah.
And things, and then have been for a little while. Although, again, death rate remaining as a proportion and as a percentage relatively low.
Mhm.
So that's good. But definitely more people are getting infected.
Yeah,
So,
same here. Now, the only thing I would
testing positive. I mean, I don't know if more people are getting infected than they were back then, but they're definitely, at least people are getting tested and are coming back positive. So I don't know where that all falls.
And I would agree with that. Like in my county, again, we're a small county. We only had 1 testing site for the longest time. Now we have 5 testing sites. So it's a difference. That I was going to say, the only thing I would say is if you are coming to Florida, to Disney or someplace else with this going on, if your state isn't one of the ones that says you can't come to Florida, check the county that you're going to before you come.
Yep.
Because the rules here are county by county. So like my particular county does not have a mask requirement, even though I've noticed since the cases ticked up, way more people are wearing them. But the 3 counties directly to the south of me all have mask requirements outside and in businesses. So you need to be prepared for wherever you're going because they're letting the local governments control what they think they need for their area.
Yep. Yeah. And Carolyn, where you are you dealing with this kind of stuff in
Yeah,
north of the border?
we don't have as big of a pot. There's 2 of us in Canada, right?
Well, I know, right? So far you're healthy, you're good.
Yeah,
Good?
everything's good.
Okay.
I mean, we have we have what 35 million people in all of Canada, which is just a little bit more than the state of Florida.
Okay.
So our counts are really low, which is
Okay.
good. That's what you want.
Yeah. I was just curious.
But yeah, like around here, there's a few cities that like, oh, everywhere you go, you need a mask. My city isn't one of them, but pretty much everybody wears them around here. So I mean, admittedly, like for the first few times you wear a mask, you kind of feel like, oh my God, I look like a weirdo. But no, pretty much everybody does now. And it's actually the rare person that isn't wearing one. I feel like they're getting like the looks like, where's your mask? So I think it's going well up here.
Okay.
But yeah, like we oh, hello, dog.
Muffin says hello.
Hello, Muffin.
Yeah, like again, we still can't cross the border, and they even are sort of. We're not allowed to even like. I was like, oh, I can't go anywhere on vacation. Maybe I'll hop in the car and drive to Nova Scotia for a trip. No, I can't cross provinces.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that has not happened here. Like I remember
I mean, some provinces will let the neighboring ones come in, but then you can't go like 3 down the way or whatever. Okay. It's weird. Like
yeah, you can't go. A
couple of them have paired up because they're so close and whatever. But yeah, I can't just get in my car and drive to British Columbia and.
No, I mean we had people asking on the Disney's Hilton Head forums on Facebook or whatever. I have a vacation plan for such and such. Are they going to stop me at the borders and check blah blah blah? Like, no, just hop in your car and drive.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty much you're not getting stopped.
Yeah, so. I had a friend that she lives in the Maritimes, so the east coast of Canada, and she needed to have like papers saying why she was going into the next province because her parents lived there and she needed to do some essential business for their estate or something like that. So she had a reason to go, but I don't think maybe they've recently changed that, but they don't just let you be like, I'm just feeling like going for a drive. So
well, interesting.
Yeah, everywhere is different.
All right, enough COVID talk.
Yes.
Let's talk of Disney.
Yay.
Yay. So parks, some of the parks, 2 of the parks reopened, right? So that started Saturday. Today's Sunday.
Have you seen any of the live feeds from YouTubers or anybody?
A few.
It looked yeah, I think the parks looked fine, but downtown Disney was just
What?
It was just packed and people not wearing masks, and yeah, it was it looked really bad yesterday.
Disney Springs or downtown Disney in California?
No, sorry, Disney Springs.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's okay. I still call it downtown Disney too.
No, I didn't see anything from down there. I mean, I saw the photos and things like that from the parks, and it seemed like everything was reasonably vacant.
Yeah. I didn't think the Disney Springs either, but I saw the parks the 2 places I saw the parks that looked now he's gonna bark again, that looked crowded were people lining up for tickets outside Magic Kingdom, which I'm not sure what that was because I thought
didn't you have to have a reservation?
So I'm not sure what that was. The line, they should have people lined up down the pathway outside
I think
Magic
it was
Kingdom.
I think a lot of it was people like Justin that had their
who like had to activate their passes and stuff like that. I always forget about that because as a Florida resident, you don't reactivate. Like when you renew your pass, it's just done. It's done. Yeah. You don't have to go back to the counter or anything.
Well, when we were in Disney Springs, I actually had brought the certificate with us to try to see if they could activate the passes then, even though the parks weren't open. And they said, no, you can't do anything until the parks reopen.
Yeah. So you're right. That's probably it, Carolyn. And then the other line, of course, was people waiting to get into the Splash Mountain gift store.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All the
People
Good
with
work,
just
Vin.
bags and bags
Yes.
and bags. Oh my gosh.
So I guess we'll hop to that after I just mentioned that the Magic Kingdom Park and Disney's Animal Kingdom are the ones that have opened first, followed by Epcot and Hollywood Studios that open on the 15th. So about 3 days from now. But
Here's what I think. Want to know what I think? I think that
okay.
the one thing that is going to end up being a downfall is that you don't have to have your mask on when you're eating or drinking. But when you're at Epcot, that's like all the time.
All you do.
Yeah, how's
Right.
that going to
Good
work?
So,
So
so
if you're
if
walking
you're-
around like
so
this,
technically, if you're walking around with a beer, you can have your mask off.
I
That's
think
an
you're
interesting
supposed
point.
to wear it, but then be like, pull it down.
No, this is what one of my friends at Magic Kingdom was actually freaked out about and left because he said that everyone who was eating or drinking snacks walking around the park just walked around without their masks on. And he was like, I can't do this. I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're in close confines. I'm
Yeah.
not as concerned if you're 6 to 10 feet away from somebody and you're outside in 100-degree heat, but I am if I'm,
Yeah.
close enough to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Be
And he
spit
said
on.
when it rained, everybody ran underneath the cover like they always do. Like,
Oh, and they're
storefronts
I,
and
I
stuff.
did hear
Right.
about that.
distancing
Yeah.
gone. There you go.
I think the lesson here is right now is if it rains, get wet.
Yeah.
Wear a
Right.
poncho and
Wear a
live
poncho, get wet. Yeah.
It never rains in Florida. Stop. It's
the
beautiful
ride.
there all year round, right?
It did not rain today.
You
Oh.
see, there you go.
It might have rained
Fantastic.
every day for the last 7 days for a portion of the day, but it did not rain today. At least not in my house. Maybe in Orlando it did.
So
It is Florida. You never know.
what?
So a friend of
you-
ours just came up with this idea with the masks.
All right.
So I'm trying to get it here. So
What's the idea? What is it?
What
What
is
are we
it?
looking at?
Does it have a little flap to put a straw in or something?
yes, it does.
His straw flap.
Uh,
There you go.
That just looks weirder.
so-
I just
yeah,
rather
I
you
know.
pick your mask
So
off.
now everybody
That's it.
will be walking around parks with things like this. Now, like you said, in Epcot with
that's it. I'm just not going.
yeah, that's all.
No, I'm not.
I got to put a straw through my
It has
neck.
like a little magnet, so it just has a little flap.
I mean, it's a good idea. Look, ingenuity.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's I don't know if you can tell, it's Toy Story. It's Woody.
yeah. Well, that's
Oh,
good.
it's cute.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
It's
Sorry.
very cute. I mean, they've become fashion statements. But to what was alluded to earlier about the reopening of the Magic Kingdom was the eBayers and those selling merchandise, scarfing up all the Splash Mountain stuff. Because since we've been gone and since we've talked to you last, Disney announced that Splash Mountain was being reimagined as a Princess and the Frog attraction. So, I mean, I think, let's be honest. I mean, anybody who's been a Disney fan probably has seen this coming for years, at least, switching things over and given current sensitivities and things like that.
Was this part of Intercot Consulting? Did we cause this? Did we ever say that?
I don't know. I mean, I know we've talked about this in the past. Let's be honest. Okay. Can we just be frank here?
I'm Justin.
And I'll be Carolyn. You be Frank.
And I'll be John, but John being Frank. My middle name's Frank, so I can be frank.
Okay.
I just, from the moment I heard that this ride originally in the Eisner era was going to be based on this, I thought, well, that's odd. And so all these years later, I mean, good songs and stuff like that. Interesting, they have the interaction with humans and cartoon characters. Cool. But I had even back then I thought, okay. So, and now I just kind of shoved that back into the corner of my mind and just went on the ride for the rest of these years. But I mean, anyone else just kind of think,
way back in the
Give us
day
your
when I
thoughts,
used
Michael.
to be on the message boards on INTERCOT, I was always all over anything that came up about Song of the South.
Yeah.
It is a very, I don't know, as a person of color, I remember being in elementary school
Yep.
and being forced to watch it.
You got
And I
forced to
remember,
watch it in
yeah, like
elementary
it was one of those movies that all the kids would come in and sit up
Really?
Indian style. Yeah.
That's odd. I mean, I remember watching the City of Tomorrow Disney thing where they showed you how the future was going to look in elementary school, but I don't remember any other Disney movies.
Yeah, this was, well, it's probably because it was Roswell, New Mexico, and these movies were like 30 years old. But
I got you.
yeah, no, I remember. And I always even remember then, even though I had really no idea what it was about other than I liked the song, it was uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that more importantly, I think that if you are 40 or older, you know what the whole ride
You know
is
the
referring
history.
to.
Right. Yeah.
But there is no way anyone like that's 25 years old has any idea.
None.
No,
Like,
Because they've never seen it.
little
They
animals.
don't know.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest, being in the older demographic, I didn't know for the longest time. I had never seen the movie. I never knew there was a movie. Like the first time we went to Disney, when I saw it, I didn't know. Later, I learned about it, with the history of Disney and reading about it. But I'm sure my kids don't know.
I knew about Brer Rabbit and stuff when I was a kid, only because my mom signed my sisters and I up for like this book of the month, Disney book of the month. It was, you get these hardcover books, and one was like Cinderella, one was like a Mickey Mouse story or Goofy the Gardener and silly stories like that it wasn't just a repeating of a movie. It was like they had actual stories. So we still have the books, and there's a few that are Brer Rabbit, and it's just like little adventures of him like tricking the stupid bear and fox.
Right.
But,
I remember that book.
But I just thought it was like some obscure character that Disney created. That's all I knew too. And then like Cindy, like I didn't find out till way later. Oh, there was like a movie with like they were just sort of like a little side story part of the movie. But and my kids have all looked at those books too from when I was a kid, and that's all they think it is too, is just cute, cuddly animals.
Well, I never saw the movie, and basically kind of like with you, Carolyn, I had no idea what the story was about, and and Cindy said the same thing. And then I just thought it was kind of like you were saying, that the Brer Rabbit is outsmarting the fox and the bear. That was just kind of like a Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner type deal.
Exactly. Yeah.
I had no idea. And then once I found out, I was like, oh, well, that's really interesting for Disney to take that stance.
Right.
But
well, the funny thing is that for years after that movie was like put in the vault permanently, and they were
that wasn't even put in the vault. It was put like so far back in the vault,
buried under stuff,
burned.
Right.
that's in a vault in the vault.
Under Walt cryogenic head in the
Right.
back of the
Walt's frozen
in the basement.
never to come out again. No, they for years still marketed. Justin's going away.
I'm still here again.
fix
The
the
bear
bear
fell.
again.
Yeah, I was going
Yes,
to
the
say, is he
stupid
playing with the
bear
bear
fell.
again?
It fell again, and John Carbonara is obsessed with it. So
But they for years they still sold those Disney sing-along songs. My kids had all of those, like the sing-along, like they would have all the songs from the movies, and they'd put them together, and even some of the songs from the parks and stuff, and those were in that, like the snippets from that. So I mean, again, we just kind of had them seeing that stuff, and they'd never know either. So I think to everyone's point, not many people really know much because they aren't exposed to it. So the point being, I'm not. It's going to be questionable with you whether folks who now have grown up with that are going to miss it for what it was, or I can tell you, if they cheap out on it.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Justin and the bear, not you, John.
Be a problem. Oh,
I
sorry.
don't think they're going to cheap out on it. I think they're going to have to make it an actual decent. I mean, they are like pretty. It's going to be not a hard transition because it already is really New Orleans-y, like the whole scene with the paddle boats and
yeah. Other than the whole mountain part.
Right.
Because they're really, I mean,
Yeah,
My daughter
There's a
loves
few
that
mountains
movie,
in
and there's a whole part about going down the bayou and stuff.
Right.
Like there's a whole river part to
Right.
the movie, so
What-
I could
is
see.
it bad? I've never seen the movie. I just
Really?
Oh,
You know
No,
what?
I don't
Okay.
believe I have either. I think I've seen bits and
I'm gonna
pieces.
have to
actually-
go back and watch it
beginning
now.
to end.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
cute.
I really like it. I think that it was one of those movies that got, because of when it came out and the timing, it kind of got like a bad reaction. Like, not that people didn't like it, but it just didn't get the attention that it deserved. The music in the movie is really good. The story is really cute. It's got a lot of cute characters, side characters. Tiana is a good princess, but it just kind of, I'd have to look it up to see when it came out. I think that one came out after. Did it come out before Tangled or after Tangled? I think it just
last.
I
Wasn't
think
it
it
the
was
last
before.
hand drawn?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the
I was
last-
it
just
was the
gonna say,
last
the
hand
problem-
drawn, and I think it just got lost in
Which I
the
really should
transition
watch
to the
it
newer
then.
movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
I like
think
it.
that is what the magic that it's losing, right? Is that it's still that hand drawn animation, which I think is beautiful. But
Me too.
Mhm.
when you look at Onward, you know what I mean? Where they're like
Yeah.
fictional characters, but it looks like real life. It gets crazy.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I think here's my opinion as a person of color on this and a
Yes.
homosexual. I
Right.
think that
Wait, what?
What?
I think that it is. I think it's an okay move for
hold
Disney.
on. I'm missing my
hold on.
opportunity. Hold on.
I know, really, John.
This
This
just in.
just in.
You're
Um,
rusty.
I think that it's going to be a good move for Disney because I think the percentage of people that are still like freaking out because it's going to be gone because they're taking away the memories and I hate that. Oh, it's going to mean a lot more to an entire new
Horizon.
generation
Mhm.
of Disney fans who are not white, who are going to be able to ride a ride, who are going to see somebody that reminds them of them. And I think that is so, I mean, I know that a lot of people don't understand why representation is important, but it is. It matters.
Absolutely.
hmm And I mean, look at how the princess thing exploded. I mean, when they
Right.
made the Frozen ride and
Right.
anything with another princess, is just going to be a barn
Right.
burner. Everybody's going to run to it. So, and
Well,
it's a fun story. It's cute. You got to
It's
see it.
cute. As long as they can figure out how to explain why there's a mountain in New Orleans, I'll be good. Just figure that out for me, and
Yeah,
I'm happy. Just
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't hope for
I mean,
that,
there's no
but-
mountains in space.
hey, hope springs eternal with me, Michael. I like
It's
things to
because
make
you're
sense.
brought down to the size of something. and
Oh, I
that's
like
not
that.
really a
That's the
mountain,
word.
and
You're a
it's-
frog.
You're the frog.
Maybe you are
Yeah.
from the. Yeah, that could work.
Okay.
But you
No,
know what
it
I will
doesn't
say?
matter.
Yeah, it
But-
gives them a nice place to put Tiana out someplace where she can actually be seen easily. Because unless she's changed, she's always been like in that hidden, tucked away corner in
Behind
Liberty Square. Which, unless you happen to go through that way at a shortcut, or you're particularly looking for her, she's hard to find.
Man.
And now she'll be able to be
See,
right out front.
It's like totally the opposite of Disneyland because
Oh, yeah,
she
'cause
has the entire.
And in Disneyland, that whole
right.
in Splash
The
Mountain queue is Pooh and Friends. Isn't it?
Yeah,
In
but
Disneyland?
there's only 2 rides in that whole section, so the fact that they still call it like Critter Country is stupid.
Well, true.
You know what I mean? Really? Like,
Tell me
what?
how you really.
What does that mean? That's
But-
just weird.
Is that where the other entrance to Star Wars Land is over that way?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't been out there since.
Underneath the Hungry Bear restaurant. So
okay.
you just there's like 2 like a divided walkway, and you just that's actually the entrance I like there
Okay.
for the record. But I don't know. I think it's fine. I think you know what Tiana deserves some respect. She's got a beautiful dress. Her wigs are good. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, like I
On one
said,
of the cruise ships, I forget which one it was. It might be the Wonder. They have one of the restaurants is called Tiana's Place, and
Oh,
they have
right. I
music
remember that.
playing and everything.
Mhm.
You know, my wife Dawn loves it because that's the place where they serve vignettes. So she,
Mhm.
loves
That
that.
would
She
be-
gets like a second order every night. So
That would be beignet, but we're gonna go up.
beignets,
vignette, whatever.
French. It's the
Beignets.
French.
I love beignets.
the doughy.
And I probably should know this,
powdery,
but there's been so much of an information glut with everything. What was the timeline for that? Did they tell us, or did they just say they were changing it?
That'd be a no.
Okay, they just said
I
they were
don't.
changing
I don't
it.
think. I don't think. I haven't seen anything.
I think probably for next year with the anniversary, if they still have the big anniversary in Disney World, at least.
Well, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's a whole.
Yeah,
That's on the list of topics too. But
yeah, Disneyland's
them
missing
all.
their 65th this year. It's sad.
yeah,
That's
and
right.
They're-
Couple
more
I
days.
up on 50.
I had a weak moment like 2 nights ago, and got on the Shop Disney website and bought like a bunch of Disneyland merchandise. I don't know. So anyway, I have like $200 worth of Disney crap coming. I
boy.
apologize to
Oh
myself.
boy. Well,
I
you know,
know.
that has
Future
been one of the
Michael is
side
not
effects
happy.
of COVID, right? I mean, you're
Yeah.
sitting and there's a little more time for stuff, and you
Oh,
can't.
I
You
have
don't really
bought
want to
so
go
much
out to the
stuff
stores,
off
and it's like,
Amazon. It's been crazy.
I know
It's
my
because
driver's coming to the door and like, really, again? Okay.
Right, like I don't even have time to get in the elevator, and he's like already down there texting me, "I'm here."
I'm just upset that I don't have the Amazon thing where they can just open your door and leave it inside your house and stuff.
That
But
could be your
They
next
probably
step.
aren't doing that now, but maybe, I don't know. If you have the garage, maybe they do that, but I'm waiting. But I'm just, it's
Give them the
bad.
door code.
It's bad. On top of buying all the new stuff for our house, let's just, and then the regular thing. So yeah, it's been a little crazy. So yeah, so that one, like I said, my big thing is just as long as they spend the appropriate amount of money to do the retheming in a way that it makes sense and don't like schlock it, then I think we'll be in good shape.
Well, and I'm surprised that they did announce a new thing that they're changing, because there seems to be a whole bunch of stuff that might be on the chopping block now.
Like,
Boy,
what
that
did
was
they have?
that transition was like
That was really good.
that was smooth. We just slid right into that base. That was nice. I tell you, it's like you've been working at this for
Thanks.
years. Yeah. So, how about that Reflections DVC resort?
That's the one that where River Country used to be at Fort
Yeah.
Wilderness.
Yeah, otherwise known as Project 89. Yeah, apparently, according to rumors on the WDW Magic forum, friends of INTERCOT going way back, grass seed was found on the site where their resort was planned to be. And they've said to be removing rebar and concrete, which sort of reminds me of Pop Decades, what they did after 9/11 there. And we talked about that, I think, briefly previously. So there's been no official announcement or anything, but Reflections DVC Resort was supposed to happen. They definitely had done ground clearing on it and things like that. But you have to wonder whether that and possibly some other things are going to be put on hold. I mean,
I
revenues
have to
gotta
wonder
be-
though, is there, like, you guys have DVC, is there really that big of a demand for DVC?
Yes. I'm going to say, well, pre-COVID, I can
There
tell
was.
you, like it started to get hard to find rooms at certain times of the year. It was really difficult.
It
But
was
at
getting
what
really hard.
point, okay, so all right, I get it for DVC, but at what point are you building so many
Yeah,
rooms
yeah.
and places to stay, and there's not enough capacity at
At the parks, right?
Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is why now it doesn't make sense to build another hotel. They just built the The Testino
Grand
whatever.
Destino,
Yeah.
and the,
and they're
Riviera.
like banking on the convention center. Well, man, that ain't gonna happen. You know what
Right.
I mean? So
Right.
they're gonna have an entire empty hotel waiting
just fill them with
to be able
NBA.
to have a convention. I know. Who did you see? They all just are complaining that it's like it
Oh
might
my
as well be
gosh.
a motel.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ray
God.
John Rondo was
The
like
NBA.
Motel 6, hon.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Sorry, guys, we're giving you somewhere where you can earn your millions, and
I know. Oh,
Sorry.
look at this food. It's awful. And
multi-millionaire crybabies.
They should put them at Pop Sports.
yeah.
There you go. They'll all fit really well in there. Because I did see the one about the blanket being too short, which I kind of thought was funny. Because you know what, to me,
well,
like
that is fun.
that's like an NBA fail. Like the NBA should go to Disney and say, "Hey, you know what? We do have some really tall people. Can you special order some blankets?" But
Well,
You
I
know.
think if you're like 7'2", I think at some point as an adult, it's your responsibility to make sure
Bring
that
a
you have a
blanket?
blanket.
Travel.
Like,
Yeah.
A
Why not?
you know
millionaire.
what I mean?
Like, you
Yeah,
might think this problem has
Are they
probably
just
come
so-
up
Probably
before.
true.
Are they just so used to like
Being catered to.
being catered
Pampered.
to, and just everybody just brings me the things
But
that
yes.
I want, and I have luxury suites
Yes.
every city we go to?
Yes.
Yep, pretty
Yes.
much.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
don't
Yeah.
know.
But I
You know,
mean, if
they're spoiled babies. I mean,
I think to the point, if you're 7 feet tall, you pretty much have probably been in this situation before, and
Yeah,
you
this
know
isn't
it might
something
be a
new.
problem. So
Right.
you might want to bring a blanket in your
How does,
suitcase.
And you know what?
how does it not work for a blanket? Don't they sleep diagonal in a bed anyways? Like, why aren't the blankets long enough?
First of all, who uses a blanket in Florida? It's 8,000 degrees.
See,
I do, but my
Oh.
house is
The
really,
air
really
conditioning is
cold.
cold.
so
My house is
Heather-
very cold.
Heather says they've been busy replacing beds for them.
wow.
Oh, well, you know what? Good. I am so glad that journey is going to be complete for them because
Well, what is it? The NBA is spending like $1.5 million a day
Are they?
in Disney. It was some ridiculous number like that.
Well, you know what? Disney's going to do anything they can because they ain't getting that money from anybody else because
Yeah.
That's true.
all of the hotel rooms are so cheap.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked. What are hotel room prices now?
They are.
If you're a pass holder, they're running at about 40% off. I took a look and say for Labor Day weekend,
Mhm.
you could get now it was garden. It wasn't in it was I don't think it was in the tower. I think it was a garden room at the Contemporary was running for 300.
Okay.
That's still cheap.
That's very
But-
cheap.
Which is
Yeah,
still
I
a
mean,
lot. I mean, let's be honest.
Still a lot,
There's
but yeah.
no-
A lot, but just by
Right.
comparison, I think like the values were the ones that actually didn't seem super cheap. The values were running around 120, but I will say I haven't booked a value for a really long time, so maybe that is actually a good price now.
I don't know.
For-
Even at
for that-
$85, those hotels are not worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree, but I'm just saying in comparison to what they usually charge, I just don't know what
Yeah.
a value usually goes for anymore. But most of the deluxes, John, on the pass holder rate were about 40% off across the board. So they were running from 250 up to I think the highest I saw was 667, and that was a DVC 2-bedroom.
Okay.
Even
So
that's
again,
cheap
not
because those
cheap
rooms.
for by normal people
Well,
standards,
the-
but by Disney standards, super cheap.
The regular price for those can be up to like $1,000 a night.
Yeah.
So that's actually really good.
Mere bag of shells.
Basically, though, you're paying for the location. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
we can all agree
100%.
that like Disney hotels, even their deluxe, isn't what a deluxe would be in New York City, or you know what I mean? Like,
Well, maybe not New York because their rooms are tiny. But
well,
it's,
okay, yeah, not New York. But
there's no room at
Vegas.
Disney. Even I don't know, $300, $400 a night for a room that's not as nice as any Marriott or any Hilton. Like, no, it's not worth it. But
Yeah, I think the more you travel, the more you realize stuff it wasn't living up to it. Although I will say, and I said this before when I went to the Coronado Springs, that the way they had redone the rooms was way better than they used to be.
yeah,
yeah,
oh,
no, I
they
agree.
improved them.
I stayed there.
I just don't. I just always assume that the reason I'm paying that price is because of the
It's
location.
Location,
Right.
location,
Yeah.
location.
Oh, 100%. And then I always say that and complain about that. And then every time I go, I'm like, oh, the beach club. Yeah. So anyway, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, they were inexpensive enough that assuming I go back at some time in the future, I was like, maybe I'll actually stay on site, which I think most of you know. We have not stayed on site at Disney for 2 years, maybe, I think. Everything we've done has been day trips mainly because for me as a Florida resident, my breaking point was when they started adding parking on for me too. Because then I was like, I've lost my benefit to want to stay there. I can go and stay over at the Hilton and pay the same price because now they both are charging me parking.
Well, I felt the same way as somebody who drove to Disney, that it was ridiculous that I was being charged just because I was nearby, as opposed to the folks who got to ride the bus over from
Exactly.
the airport or whatever. So yeah, no, I mean,
So what else are they putting on hold? Do we know?
yeah, well, so other rumors, Spaceship Earth redo, maybe
Oh yeah,
postponed.
I have a love-hate relationship with that. So
I don't know. I hated the last redo so much that I was just ready. The whole ending, I just hated.
I
It's
never
just-
liked the ending, but in the last year, it's like they knew that there was a renovation coming, so
Yeah.
they just let things fall apart. Like that beginning scene when you go up and it's kind of a movie with the
yeah.
what do you call the elephant thing from
Woolly mammoth.
Woolly Mammoth, and they're fight. It's like so dark you can barely
I
see
know, like the
anymore.
projector is just
And it's like they were like,
filmed.
we'll leave it. We'll just do that in the redo. And now it's like, oh, the redo's not going to happen
Crap.
necessarily. So I hope they're at least going to do a couple little fixes.
It's just a long redo, though. That was like 2
2
years.
years.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It was going to be down for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't remember that. Wow.
Yeah, so who knows? It
That
maybe
was longer than it
postponed
took
at
to
this
build
point.
the park.
Rumors, I think, Carolyn, you said basically was that they were just going to open it up post.
Yeah, when they
the
open-
park opened up, then
When they
yeah.
open this week, it's probably just going to be back open. Because
So-
they kept saying that it was going to close as well in like January or
Mhm.
something. And then it was open again in March. So
Yeah.
it just
So
keeps going.
nothing about that. We haven't heard anything for sure. Of
Maybe
course,
when we go back, they'll finally have painted the Spider-Man building
What Spider-Man building?
or whatever. What is that building? What are they? Oh no. What are
Guardians of
they?
the Galaxy?
the
Yeah,
Guardians.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Monstrosity.
The
Oh,
old
no,
universe of
Spider-Man.
energy.
I don't know. I thought maybe we were
Spider-Man's
going
at
like
Disneyland.
Avengers or something.
No,
on-
Spider-Man's
I
at
thought you
Disney.
switched coasts
Spider-Man's
or-
at
Disneyland.
I'm sorry.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
event. The Guardians. Yes.
the
Yeah.
Guardians of the horrible
Galaxy.
box. Yeah.
The giant box
That
roller
huge
coaster.
building.
Oh well, yeah. So I don't. That one was pretty far along, so that's fine. Tron coaster probably fine. Space.
It looks like I saw pictures of Tron, and it looks like the
They're
track is
way
all
along.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're way along on that, so that'll be fine. The
That Moana Journey of Water. I mean, they've already knocked down all the buildings.
yeah, but that's the question. So there's a lot of stuff that was supposed to happen in and around Future World, including like that pavilion thing, the where you were going to be
Toy
able to
pavilion?
watch things at the back of Future World and at the entrance to World
Oh.
Showcase. There was supposed to be a big building there with a double terrace.
Oh, right.
thing, and I don't know. So those things, supposedly Mary Poppins attraction was supposed to happen. They had announced.
That is just disrespectful if they don't do that.
I know. The possible updates to the Mexico boat ride, Imagination.
Yeah,
knows?
that's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah, all those.
Ratatouille was supposed to be open by now. So
That will be open because prior to things closing at the last media event I went to, they were like, we got a walkthrough in Hard Hat and they had the cars and they were already testing the vehicles. So I can see that's going to open soon. But the question is, do they wait until they can make a big splash about it, or do they just go, heck with it?
this week.
Not going to be. Not going to be.
I
open.
think they're going to be so desperate for money when they finally open up, and there'll be enough people who don't care, and they're going to go regardless. That it's going to be like the first month when they fully open everything. It's going to be crazy.
I heard they made changes to the Rise of the Resistance virtual queue.
Well, that too. That's something.
That is going to be 3. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say before we get to that, just also, there may be cuts related to the 50th. Who knows? I mean, if things, money, who knows? Star Wars Resort.
Oh yeah, I
I
already forgot about
Well,
that.
I would imagine that's like a close contact. You're locked up with all these. It's like a cruise ship right now, and cruise ships aren't sailing. So,
I was saying this to you, John, earlier, the Void, which if you remember a few podcasts ago, John was talking about the virtual reality thing.
yeah,
he
which was
did
really cool.
at
by the
Disney
way.
Springs.
Yeah.
So it This is what it says. The Void, which closed temporarily with the rest of Disneyland in March, has now shut permanently after receiving a notice of event default and lease termination.
Wow.
And then it says nothing's been said about the one in Florida. However, there is no dates available to book anything.
I mean, I chuckled a little just because of the ridiculousness of the statement, but the reality is like it's happening around here too, and I'm sure it's probably happening where you guys are. Like businesses are like going under.
Yeah.
Like we literally just had on the island, what is it called? Bonefish and Carrabba's done. Pulled up
Wow.
anchor and just said we're done. Yeah, we're not doing this anymore. We've got at least 2 local restaurants who were big locals places, closed completely for the summer and just said, we're not dealing with this. Who knows where they'll open up again. One of the great dessert places that we used to go to, it was called the Purple Cow here in Hilton Head. Those who have been to Hilton Head may know about that. Purple Cow was set to move into a new location. They had closed their existing location. COVID hit. Guess what? They're not opening a new location. Gone.
Oh.
Just erased. Like this kind of stuff is happening all over the place. And so, I mean, what's happening at Disney, things being canceled and stuff like that, a big corporation like that can handle that sort of thing. The mom and pop shops are just closing up, chains even just closing up, just saying, we can't deal with this. So, there's a ripple effect that's definitely happening right now. And I think it's going to be years that this sort of stuff is going to shake out, especially if we're majorly closed down or limited, or we're still wearing masks by the end of the year. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah.
I have a feeling masks are going to be for a year or two. Until they come up with some kind of.
Justin, I can't take it.
I can't either. Trust me.
I told my wife today, so I don't know how you guys feel about this. Feel free to chime in. We're going off the Disney talk here for 2 seconds. But, I used to like just going out to the stores to sort of browse around and see what's new and sort of see new products and blah, blah, blah. Or occasionally I'd go clothes shopping or whatever, or I'd go to Home Depot or whatever and just look around the screw aisle and look at that one. There's going some new ones there this week. And today I was out there, and after about 10 minutes in the store, I'm like, get me the hell out of here. I'm done. I started getting angry about shopping, and I love shopping. And it's just kind of gotten to that point. So, I mean, I don't know how you all deal with it, but I'm not dealing with it very well. I don't like it.
I found, I made a whole bunch of cloth masks, but then I found that, not disposable. I mean, you can reuse it, but the not paper, the ones that they give you I didn't bring a mask. Oh, here's one. It's the blue on one side, white on the other.
Mask.
Yeah.
Those are way easier to breathe in than a cloth one. So
really?
if you're really freaking out, get one of those wherever you can.
Okay. Good advice.
Yeah, we have a rotation of masks. We have some homemade ones. We have the surgical type ones.
You have a rotation of masks.
Well, because for different things, the surgical type ones are I'm running into the store for 1 minute, and I don't feel like having to get a cloth one that I'm going to have to wash. Now, Katarina has started doing some dancing again, and our favorite mask so far is I ordered her masks from a dance company that are specifically designed to breathe better and to be able to be active in, and they're adjustable, which is really awesome. They've got a little adjustable thing to adjust them around your ears. But I'll be honest, I mean, I know lots of people are going out a bunch of my friends are. I'm just still primarily not going very many places. When I'm going shopping, it's I'm at Publix. I probably need to light a candle for my relationship with Target because 90% of my orders are now drive-up orders.
Yeah,
I
know.
I feel like I'm going through withdrawal. I think I've been in Target
Cindy,
twice, maybe, and it's because there was stuff I couldn't get on drive-through, so I had to go inside.
I know.
Yeah,
so
browsing.
It's been since March since I've been in a Target.
Drive up is awesome, though. I really like it. It saves me money. Target probably doesn't like it because browsing around, I spend a whole lot more. Where when you have to do it for your drive up or your pickup pickup order. You order what you order. But other than that, I'm trying to think. Walgreens, maybe. Okay, so those are like the 3 places I've been: Target, Publix, and Walgreens.
No, I'm with you. So I mean, we're in Lowe's today, and I was going out to buy some cabinets for what we were gonna do we're doing some work in our basement. We're building out my wife's embroidery stuff, and honestly, after about 10 minutes there, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna order it online for online pickup. Let's get out of here. And so I'm like you, like I'm starting to take advantage of that kind of stuff, and just so I have to kind of void that sort of situation altogether.
Yeah, I try to not even go to the grocery store anymore. I just have my groceries delivered because
You have people.
It's first of all, I don't have a car, so it's not like I have.
Okay.
I have to either take an Uber, or I have a friend who, like, we often go to the grocery store together because he has a car. But I don't know. I just would during the week put stuff in my shopping cart, and then one day I'm like, okay, let's see how much all this costs. I'm like, okay, deliver it. Then I just turn my head away at how expensive it is. So
I think that's the next step for me.
I know it feels awful right now. Just remember that the Spanish flu, or whatever they called it in the 1918 or whatever, everybody was wearing their masks and stuff, and then it went back to normal. And what we considered normal was what they got back to. So it will get there too.
I'd rather wear a mask than
this
die.
Time that'll be in history books.
I
vote
hate
for
wearing
masks,
but I wear them when I go out, and like when I go out for a run, I can't breathe in a mask while I'm running, but the second I stop, I put a mask on when I'm walking around and everything and doing my cool down. It's just, but as I was saying earlier, down in Vero, you don't have to wear it on the beach, but in New York, you're supposed to wear it. And on the boardwalk, which is right by my house, 50% compliance, maybe 50%. So many people just not wearing them. And, I try to keep 6 feet from people, but on a crowded boardwalk on a hot day, it's difficult. But, I just try to do my best to stay away from people.
Yeah.
Lord knows I didn't mean to turn this into mask talk, because quite frankly, that's what like in social media, my head's going to explode if people talk too much more about masks. So.
Yeah.
Here's a funny thing about masks.
Go ahead, Michael.
So I have
word
become an avid mask purchaser. This is my new obsession
because
I'm looking for the mask that actually fits and I can breathe in. Yeah. So I randomly order, like, I don't even know. I've given so many masks to friends, and I'm like, hey, you like this? Here you go. It's for you. I got it. Because every week I'm like, 3 new masks came in. They all suck. So
we have a ton of masks, and I don't really have one that I like. I like features of ones and other ones, and if I could combine them to make mask.
All right.
They do sell Disney masks. I think it's like
and they have them in sizes, which I think is cool. So I'm gonna have to measure my face. I don't think I've ever said that before, and see which size would fit.
Under Armour has made design masks for runners. All right, mine's on order. Go ahead.
Okay, what's next?
Somebody mentioned Rise of the Resistance.
Killing me, Smalls. Yeah, so
so they are going back to a virtual queue system.
Right, but it sounds better.
Yeah, it actually does. So instead of having to get to the parks at 6 a.m. before the park opens, and then as soon as the park opens, everybody's on their phone trying to get into a boarding group, and maybe your boarding group, you're standing there at 6 a.m., you get in, and we're in boarding group 10,040. It's not going to be called until tonight. What am I going to do until then?
Right.
It sucked. So the new way is like this. As availability allows, guests will have an opportunity at 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. to request to join the virtual queue. That means there is no need to arrive early to the park to check the virtual queue. So instead of it being like at the 7 o'clock, as soon as the park opens, everybody smash your phone until it gives you a boarding group. 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. So I think that kind of works better, Because then I'll get in on the 1 p.m. group. If I don't get in on that one, I'll try again at 4.
Well, yeah, I like that you get opportunities throughout the day now to be able to do it. And you're in, as Juliana said, no need to get up at the butt crack of dawn. I mean, that's the good point. I mean, for those of us who maybe are not in that realm of early wakers and have a tough time getting moving in the morning.
I still haven't ridden that ride yet.
Oh,
I haven't ridden it either. So.
Oh, wow.
I haven't had the opportunity yet.
Now, remember, it does still say, though, please note that joining the virtual queue does not guarantee the ability to experience Rise of the Resistance, which happens. I mean, especially if you join in the 4 p.m. group and the ride breaks down for a couple hours, they might not get to you.
Right. But they'll probably get to you.
Yeah.
But they might not.
But so they're just saying that so you can't complain.
Right.
Well, I think this is better than getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get there, and then whoever's in your group is doing it screws up somehow, and you don't get in until like 4 in the afternoon. Like, what are you going to do for 9 hours?
Well, you can leave.
You can leave.
Right.
You would go to another park, but you can't park hop now, right?
Right. You cannot. You reserve one park one day.
So there goes that.
And you will get a text back saying like, "Oh, your boarding group is coming," and you have 1 hour to hike it back to the park quick. And
now it's 1 hour, because didn't it used to be 2 hours with the old system?
2 hours now. It's
so now 1 hour. Okay, that's a good system.
Well, I think
whatever.
Given the fact that you can't park hop, that this was the logical way to do things. And you can decide, maybe I'm gonna leave the park for lunch and then come back or whatever, or, do something. Even
go
though
back
you
to bed.
Park hop. Yeah, you could go back to your resort or go sit at the pool or whatever, and then come back for the 4 o'clock boarding group or something. So yeah, I think it's better. I think this is a good thing. Probably. We'll see. We'll see how it works.
I don't know. Well, I'll be honest. I wrote it.
We'll see how it works is magic bands.
Oh, yeah. That's
I've completely forgot about that. That wasn't even on my topic list.
Yeah, I just thought of it. So in case you haven't heard, they're no longer going to give you magic bands for free when you have a resort reservation. So, which a lot of us have a giant Ziploc bag full of every color of the rainbow.
Right.
It's still puzzling given the $1 billion investment.
Well, I think they're looking for ways to save money.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Completely.
So now you can still use your old magic bands. You can still go to the stores and buy them, and they'll still have cute little pattern ones. That's
at
fine.
A discounted rate too, if you're a resort guest.
Yes.
Over the standard ones.
But they're not going to give them to you for free. So your options now are they'll just give you a little card, like the little plastic ticket, or they'll let you use your phone. Because remember how they were testing out that thing where you can open your room with with your phone, Bluetooth.
Pretty much like every hotel.
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah.
6 years ago at normal hotels.
Yeah. But you should be able to Bluetooth for your park ticket, I think, and Bluetooth for your fast passes.
Right.
And
should be able to do that.
I love how they kind of like, we have this brand new technology. Oh my God.
It's Disney Genie or whatever.
First of all, their app has been horrendous for so long. They have to do a whole redo on the app for it to work. I mean, you get to the park and the app just doesn't work.
It crashes or freezes.
Well, or you could just be smart and like everybody else, let your phone have your annual pass in your wallet or whatever Android calls it, and then it's just there. You don't have to go into an app and open it and do all that.
I think that's a wonderful idea, except for the fact that when you go to the parks, you're having to recharge at 3 o'clock because you've been using your phone for taking pictures and doing other stuff, and now you've got it open all the time to check your fast passes and tap and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the battery life.
I think I have a fast pass, but I can't tap in.
Hold on, I got to plug in.
By the way, Carolyn, did you see the fuel rod settlements.
Oh, I didn't even
Oh, what
think
happened
about
with
those.
Sorry, you just talked about charging the phone. I saw it yesterday. The fuel rod, you will have to pay $3 to get it unless you're a founder.
Oh, I was a founder.
So you have to go in and fill out some kind of questionnaire, and then you'll be considered a founder, and then you can get yours for free for life still.
Oh, there you go.
So
it's
sorry,
new.
you just said
People have to
charging
pay
the phone, and I remember you were the one that was talking
Yeah,
about
so
this a
for
while
people
back.
that don't know, fuel rod is like those little miniature portable charging batteries. And originally, like I bought mine years ago, you'd pay $30, you get the little fuel rod, and then anytime you want, you just take that fuel rod up to the machine, pop it in, and a brand new one pops out that's fully charged, and you continue on your way. But they were coming across saying that they were no longer going to give the free ones. It was going to be an extra charge every time you want to switch it out for a fresh one.
Right.
And people had their little fits over that. So yeah, all right. So I probably am grandfathered in. That's good.
Well, I have to say, I've been through two things like that in my life. I had early on, I don't know, you guys, if you can see if you're watching as opposed to listening, behind me, I've got my Amazon Alexa device. Oops, I said her word. Cancel. And I had a thing called a Sony Dash, right? Which was an early, always on information display. It was blah, blah, blah. Well, it was supposed to last forever. Well, they pulled the plug on it and they disabled all the functions on it. And it was a cloud-based device and it just went pretty much kaput. So there was a perfect example, like you. I was promised I would have this device that would work great, whatever. And I also just recently had the same sort of thing. I had a Wink home automation hub, which brought together all my smart devices and stuff like that and enabled them to talk to each other and all that kind of stuff. Well, they just decided they were going to start charging a subscription fee. And people like me were promised when we bought the thing, it's free for life.
Yeah.
It's in the cloud. It's free for life. Same thing.
John's living in 3020 with all his electronics. He's so far in the future.
I know. Sorry, I have a lot of home automation and lights that turn themselves on and off.
You're living in like Marty McFly's future house.
Well, in my new house, I can tell
the door. I need a thumb pad.
I know. It's funny because years ago when we were going through interventions in Disneyland, and they were showing, all the future tech and everything. I was like, got that too.
See,
got that too.
Yeah,
got that.
John's the new scene of Carousel of Progress.
I am.
Laser disc. Do you have laser disc and high def
and
TV?
high def TV? Laser discs. I can tell the A word to turn my fans on, which is cool. In my rooms.
But can you get the toilet to flush automatically? You need one of those.
I do not have that. I know that exists though. Yeah. I hear they have automatic cleaning ones now. Automatic cleaning toilets?
It's called
Tushy.
No, that's not the Tushy. That's totally different.
The toilet not clean.
No, I'm talking about
the toilet itself, Carol.
Not the toilet itself, not the backside.
Yes.
Okay.
They have self-cleaning toilets that have like some sort of solution in it, and it does it.
Toilets just don't clean themselves, and they probably never will.
Yeah, that's right.
Apparently, they do. So anyway, yeah, no, I get it. I feel your pain because of that. But I mean, you were promised fuel for life, fuel cells.
That's right.
Yep, she's now a founder.
Well, that's good. So the last thing we need to talk about, because we've got about 12 minutes left.
Hamilton? Is that what you're going to say?
No, I'm not going to talk about Hamilton, but we can.
I'll talk about Hamilton with you later, Michael.
But wait, we can talk about that, but I want to get to something more important first. Okay. Cinderella Castle being painted.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it. I think it's really cute.
Really?
And it pops against the sky. Yes, who cares? They're going to paint it again. Like, it's fine.
Temporary. I do like the gold and I like the pink because the pink makes me think of Snow White, Sleeping Beauty Castle.
Right. See, well, that's my problem.
The blue seems a little bit like it's not the right shade of blue.
It's not the right shade of blue.
Like really bright blue.
But then maybe they're expecting it to fade out by the 50th. And
possible.
And they put the birthday cake castle back up.
Maybe they picked colors that are going to look better when they project their next show, like
Who
every
knows?
other show on the
could be.
castle.
That's a
It
good
could
point.
be, Michael. I just, I'm very picky when it comes to my castle.
I think it really pops against the sky. I think it's pretty. I know that it won't last forever, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
My big thing was, I think, to what was pointed out, it reminds me too much of the West Coast castle.
Yeah.
Color. And I like
it is weird. Maybe they had paint left over. We are in a down cycle.
They had
we got
gallons left.
bajillion gallons left in this warehouse.
It's like a water truck. Oh,
Just put that on a truck and send that to Florida. Yeah. Well,
yeah, the new president's like, we're not buying new paint until all of this gets used.
so they just took all the paint and poured it together and was like, yeah, this will do.
You know what? That's blue enough. It's fine.
That's really funny. I do see your point, though, because it's not blue. It sets off against the sky a little more. But I don't know. I'm the same guy who wants the Tomorrowland fountains to come back out in front.
Oh,
I
the
really
waterfalls,
would
yeah.
love to see the waterfalls. I think that was something about water and the future. And I just always pictured, Epcot was going to do the journey of water. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's futuristic. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. So I have to say
It won't ruin my trip.
no.
I
I've
just
seen
wanna
so
see
many
it again.
iterations of color on that castle. I'm with Michael. It'll
I'm
change
going to
again.
be so mad that they're changing Splash Mountain. I'm not even going to notice the castle.
Yeah. Right.
God. Is that true? Was there anything else that we needed to hit?
Well, Michael wanted to talk about Hamilton quickly.
Yeah,
and
go
I
ahead.
had
Feel
something
free,
real
because I haven't seen it yet. And
I haven't either.
I got my 70-plus-year-old parents' opinion of.
See,
We were
this is
supposed
like
to watch it last weekend, but we just didn't get
this
around
is
to it.
my. I think I think it's a lot of show for people that old because it is
I agree.
a lot of words. But if they had, so I've had several
Closed
of my
caption
friends
on?
who have not seen it. I told them to put the closed caption on because
Yep, that's what I've heard.
unless you're not, I don't know. I have listened to the soundtrack approximately 4,000 times in the last 5 years, so I don't know. It wasn't a problem. I've seen it twice. I love it. I think it's a great show. It's fun. I was very impressed that they put it out on Disney Plus because that's crazy. Like I couldn't believe they did it. But then $75 million they paid him. Yeah, he'd do it. Like it's fine.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I think.
I have no opinion because I haven't seen it, so I can't have an opinion. I could have an opinion, but I don't because I haven't seen it.
I mean, it is the cast. It's not like they just filmed some random cast. This is the original cast that won 12 Tonys. So I think that it's going to be good, and it like opens up this question about theater being more accessible. Because the complaint about Hamilton for so long was nobody could get tickets, and if you could get tickets, it was
Expensive.
$275 a ticket for crappy tickets.
Yeah.
Well, with Broadway being shut down till next
Right.
year, and I think what was it? Frozen. They're done.
They completely closed it.
They
It's
closed
gone.
up and said, "Yeah, they're done."
And that's crazy because that was Disney made money hand over fist with that show. Like it was one of the top shows on Broadway, and they pulled the plug on it. That is crazy.
Well, again, I think that stuff's going to just be happening and replaying all over the place in different industries. Just stuff. I mean, who knows? When do you think the movie theaters are going to open again?
Well, they're allegedly supposed to open the end of July, same
But
time
don't
as
they have to have-
Disneyland, by the way.
Have product though, too.
Well,
Yeah, I know.
see, we have one movie theater opened here so far because the theaters were allowed to open, and the one that opened is like it's got these big, huge seats, so they're pretty good on their social distancing. But they're really pushing. They're renting out an entire theater for $100 for you and 20 of your friends.
Same here.
But the movie assortment, there's
And they'll
like
play a movie that
Maiden-
you want, right? Like you bring a DVD or whatever. And
No, for these you have to have the movies they're playing for the week. But they've had maybe like one or two newish movies. Like they've had The Invisible Man and some Vin Diesel movie. But the other things like up this week, if you wanted to go, were Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Right.
They're doing that in a
Ghostbusters,
lot
the
of
original, there were like a lot of older movies. I think that theater has 8 movies, and 2 of them were newer, and 6 of them were like 3 of them were really old, and then some midland, because there's no movies coming
Right.
out. All of the
Right.
studios are holding their big movies for when they hope crowds can come back.
I think,
I mean-
isn't it like like Thanksgiving week is when I think the first time they're saying new movies are going to come out.
Yeah.
That's the way it
Hopefully.
is at all the we have a lot of drive-ins around here, and it's like you can watch Jaws and The Invisible Man, like kind of newer and an older one. Or they had Back to the Future like a couple weeks ago, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, TV is going to be running out too. Like, I'm watching something that's new now, like new to me, that was filmed before everything closed down. But all of those newer things that were filmed were all going to be stuck just watching older stuff that you've never watched before, because then nobody's filming anything.
It's true. It's going to get really boring.
Well,
really
like I know Walking Dead, they had to postpone their last episode because they weren't able to do it.
Hadn't filmed it yet.
Billions on Showtime, they did like half the season, and the rest is just on hold. It's just, a lot of things are just on hold.
Yeah.
Well, if you're bored, here's the last thing we can talk about. Or do you have
Okay.
anything else, John?
No, we're good. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Your job, and we're going to go through each of us, is say the one food and one ride you definitely want to do or eat when you finally get to go back to the parks. Think.
Okay.
You
I got
good, Michael?
mine.
You know yours? Who's ready?
I'm ready.
All right,
Food?
Justin, go. One food and one ride.
Bread service at Sanaa,
Oh, good one.
and ride, because I haven't ridden it yet, Rise of the Resistance.
With the bread service, is it like a tray of all different breads and then like that oil you dip it in? Is that what everybody freaks out? That's so
There's different types of breads, and then there's 10 different sauces.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
going from spicy to mild to all different kinds. We've only gone there twice or 3 times, and that's in the last 2 or 3 years, and I love it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That sounds good. Okay,
Yeah.
Michael, are you ready?
Yeah, everyone who knows me knows, like, I can't wait to buy a churro in front of the castle at Disneyland.
Any
That's what I
flavor?
mean. No, I'm a purist. Because that is just like the iconic moment for me. Like walking down Main Street, getting a churro in front of the castle, and it's like everything is perfect.
Life is good.
Yeah, that is
Um,
good.
I don't know. It's so hard now because attractions aren't really like the big reason I go to Disney anymore.
It's
But
But-
you know what? I will say I'm gonna go old school and say Peter Pan, because that is one of the rides that, even though the wait it's horrible, it just always reminds me of my childhood. Like, I remember distinctly riding that as a kid with my mom. So it's like that nice, and I
Best
love it.
3
I
minutes
still love it.
ever.
Right.
Nice.
Or 2 minutes.
Cindy? Do you
Or-
know
Right.
yours?
Food is hard for me because there's not a particular food. So I'm going to go really weird with the food because it's one I'm not going to have because it's from Disneyland, and God only knows when I'll go back to Disneyland. But Disneyland just has the best fried pickles ever. From any place I've ever gotten them, the ones at Disneyland are so good. It's an odd, weird thing.
I love fried pickles, though.
Like, I don't even know where they would serve those.
It's
That's
not
crazy.
Carnation.
hmm
Carnation.
Oh, that's right.
Cafe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Good
Theirs
stuff.
are just so good. But again, not something I'm going to get at Disney World. So I don't know. At Disney World, maybe I'd be boring and go get a Dole Whip. I don't know. The food for me, more if I'm going to eat something special, it's like when I go to Food and Wine and I like to see what's there. Ride, though, is easy for me. Ride would totally be the Haunted Mansion. It's my favorite ride ever.
Nice.
Oh, that's good.
I like it.
Mine is you guys are going to think I'm gross, but I'm a northerner, so just bear with me. I really like pulled pork. And I know that the stuff at Disney World is probably like Southerners are like, that's trash. But I really enjoy it. And I also really like the little packets of barbecue sauce.
Oh my god.
What? Oh
Next.
my God.
I
Oh,
can't with
Canadians.
you.
Canadian.
So I-
funny.
Squishy bun from like Sunny Eclipse, like cosmic rays, and then it's got the pulled pork, which already has barbecue sauce on it. Then you take those little packets and you add more, and then as you're eating, it like drips out the back, and you can dip your French fries in it. Oh, I've had such a hankering for that.
You know what?
Right.
You are Canadian precious. I just got to
I
say
know.
that is
Right.
amazing.
But sometime when you come down, and it's fine, I'm going to give you that. We need to take you to like a real barbecue place to get pulled pork.
My brains explode,
Yeah.
but I'll take what I can get, and that's
It
what I
doesn't taste like cosmic rays.
I know. I'm such a cheat. And then my ride, I would say I just really want to go on the monorail. There's something about like when you're
Nice.
on the monorail, that's
Good
like how
choice.
you were saying when Michael, when you're walking down Main Street and you're like,
Yeah.
everything's great in the world. I just love like pulling in and like, oh, there's Main Street. And I'm like,
And the smell
Yeah.
of the monorail.
yes, the stink of the wet carpet of the monorail. Yes. So
My goodness.
I'm just happy to ride the monorail and then run in and get some pulled pork.
I like it. Actually,
John?
I don't know about the pulled pork part, but you know what? I'm sorry to say, but I'm going to have to go with Michael's choice. But I would pair. It was between that. It was a churro. We're getting some chips and salsa paired with a margarita at La Cava.
Oh, that's
But
That's actually one of my favorite memories from our Disney
Yeah.
World.
like I like that. I just like sitting there and sipping and eating they've got good guacamole with the whole thing, and just yum. So but I think churro is kind of the quintessential food, and for me, it's not walking down Main Street; it's walking around Epcot, and normally would have been watching Illuminations or something like that. So, which reminds me, hopefully that show won't be put off either. But ride wise, I'd have to go with Haunted Mansion. Again, quintessential Disney,
Classic Disney.
Yeah, it just everything's right in the world when I see Master Gracie and
I like that exactly. Everything's right in the world, and you can be at the Haunted Mansion.
It is. And by the way, it was pretty cool. On my personal Twitter account, I was followed by the woman who does the voice of Dee Dee from Dexter's Laboratory, who also is the bride in the Haunted Mansion.
Oh yeah, Kat
Cool.
Cressida. She follows me too. Yeah, she's really
which
cool.
that was a cool follow. I was like, hey, that's neat. And it wasn't really because of the bride in the Haunted Mansion. I was just excited that Dee Dee from Dexter's Laboratory followed me. I used to love that show.
Okay, well, listeners
Yes.
or viewers, whatever the case may be, Chris Smith, he likes Caribbean pull-apart rolls at CBR,
Yep.
and he likes Splash Mountain.
Yep.
And then Stephanie says the TTA La Cava. What's BC?
I don't know.
British Columbia is what I think.
Uh,
And then she says, mic drop, boom.
Okay, I like it.
And then for food and rides, Ashley says Nutella and a fruit waffle at Sleepy Hollow. Oh, those are
Oh,
good.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a real good one.
See, Michael and I haven't had supper yet, so
I know. I
Now
still
we're
have to
hungry.
go make dinner.
Right? I haven't had dinner either. so-
My children haven't had dinner either, which is probably a bad thing.
Beach
BC
Club.
is Beach Club.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it now.
It was funny. Just when we were down in Disney Springs, the only thing I wanted was a Mickey bar, like in Disney. So
yeah.
Target.
no, I needed one from Disney.
We
In
don't
Disney.
have those up here.
They-
I have nothing.
I don't know if I can. I was gonna post this to the social feed today, but let me see if I can get this up on the camera.
Nice.
Oh yeah, you can buy those at the grocery store. Lucky.
I heard that
Oh,
they're
you don't
not
have them
quite
in
the
Canada?
same.
They're
There's-
pretty darn close.
They're
Yeah,
close.
I have only seen them once, and I didn't buy them. And now I look every time I walk into a grocery store or like in my little market down the street, and there's nothing like there. You
Yeah,
cannot.
they have the.
Someone said they're made with different cream than the ones in the
Yeah,
park,
well,
and so,
so
but they're the
and
right
they're
shape.
smaller. Right there, you go.
They are smaller, but the one. Okay, so it's cookies and cream made with light ice cream.
Oh.
What's the point?
I
Why
know.
go light?
Stop
That's
fooling
stupid.
yourself.
There's no calories
Right.
from Disney.
I think that's maybe the difference there. It says both of them are bars made with light ice cream. But honestly, the Mickey shaped head bars, the Mickey bars actually are pretty good. I've tried, and they're smaller. So
Yeah. We had the
Yeah.
ice cream sandwiches and they were decent.
yeah. So I think, if you got to have your Disney fix and you're not going to get there for a while,
Hopefully we all can get there soon and get the real thing.
Well, I have reservations at Disneyland for October that I haven't canceled yet. I just, every night before I go to bed, I pray, dear Lord.
And we'll see. I have Walt Disneyland for August and September. We'll see what happens, if I feel comfortable going, if they're still open. Who knows? But I've got the reservations.
I have reservations for, supposed wine and dine weekend, half marathon weekend, which who knows is going to happen in the beginning of November. So
Yeah.
Oh God! And Quentin and I have our cruise booked still for February,
my.
which I know isn't going to happen. But you know what? I just can't. I can't cancel it yet.
No.
February, I think you might be good by then.
Yeah.
Legitimately, I don't have anything scheduled yet, but as I was talking in the pre-show with having DVC points that I banked from last year, I have to spend this year. So now
I'm
it's
sure
free.
they'll let you. I'm
No
sure
problem.
they'll let you bank again. There's nowhere. Yeah, I think there's so many accommodations being made for stuff like that.
I don't know. It's very tough with the DVC stuff due to the capacity and the way they figure all that stuff in. I don't know what they're going to do, but I mean, they've allowed people who had existing reservations, I believe, to go ahead and get those points back. And they've extended those, but for folks like me who hadn't yet spent the points, I'm not really sure how that's going to work.
Yeah, sometimes they put them in a holding account, but I believe they just credited our points back to our use year rather than an holding account. So.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully it's going to get better.
Hopefully.
Yes.
What I can say. Yeah, I mean, hopefully there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow
Shining at the end of every day.
of every day. 'Cause I'm certainly looking forward to
Oh my God, I have to go.
that. I know. Goodness gracious.
Well, everyone be safe.
Yes.
The important thing, though, to remember, if you are planning a Walt Disney World vacation and booking and things like that, and park tickets are now being sold, contact the folks at Magical Journeys, yourmagicaljourneys.com. You can reach Nancy, Karen, all the folks over there.
Wendy.
Wendy.
You always forget Wendy.
I know, Wendy. And Wendy's like such a Disney name too, like with Peter Pan. I don't know why I forget that. But please do support them. They've helped us bring magic to you for 22 years plus. And hopefully we'll get through this and keep bringing the magic to you for years to come.
Things will get better, everyone.
We're hoping so. Right?
It will.
Yeah, certainly. Hopefully it'll get better from there. So anyway, for Carolyn, Justin, Michael, and Cindy, I am still John. We are the INTERCOT Insider Podcast. Visit us at intercot.com. Discussion boards over there, information, and of course on social media. Bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Chicka, 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 chicka.
This is the longest outro.
I know, right?
No, it feels longer.
I should have started it earlier. When that happens.
Like,
All right, coming up on the big finish now.
Here we go, people.
All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. See you next
bye-bye.
time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.